back, everybody. It's the 2-bit SoCon. I'm pretty defeated. Can't lie. I need some words of encouragement. The 7 seed does it again.
And the 6 seed.
Yeah, I wonder how often that happens. The 6 seed.
Let's go.
They're gonna kick us out. I already know it. Yeah.
Oh, they turned it back on.
Did they?
Yeah, they just came back home.
We are here live from Harrah's Cherokee Center in Asheville after a wild quarterfinal Saturday. The 7 seed does it again. VMI taking down UNCG. Jack, you picked that one.
Don't doubt my Keydets,
Raw
man.
Virginia Mill, man.
No, VMI looks great. I think even more so for what I feel proven right on is UNCG. Like, not to rub it in too much, but all year I've just been like, so questionable. I just wasn't meshing with whatever they were doing out there. And today kind of proved that I felt that my gut feeling was right. Like, the eye test just didn't match up with what their numbers were, on the court. And, on top of that, I think Mike Jones is one of the most confusing, I don't even know what you should feel about Mike Jones, because these UNCG teams are consistently good. Like, this year, they overachieved. Like, to be second with what that roster was going into the offseason, is a great coaching job. But now he lost his 4th straight. He's 0-4 all time in the SoCon tournament. He's one and done every time, and it's upsets almost every time. And bad upset. Like, ETSU last year was great in tournament, but they were not good coming into it. Mm-hmm. VMI was great for VMI, but not very good. VMI's a competitive team. That's the best way of putting it. Mm-hmm. I just don't know. I don't know what you should feel about Mike Jones. And if y'all have anything on that, I'm just very kind of confused on what to think.
I am too, to be 100% honest with you. It just seems odd that his teams keep overachieving, like you said, in the regular season, and then they get into this arena, and he said in the press conference, this was their worst game of the entire season. And I have to agree with that on a lot of fronts. Shot 14% from 3. Giles and Atwell were basically
nothing,
completely neutralized. Atwell didn't score.
How do you not get in Giles the ball all game?
Yeah,
he wasn't Atwell.
I don't know that he
Atwell.
got a shot up until the second half.
Yeah, Atwell is Atwell.
I think he'd only taken 2 or 3 by that point.
You can kind of delete a player like Atwell if you have a player like AJ Clark guarding him. But Giles, you got to get him the ball. How do you? And it's partially on him too, but I think both ways. How are you not running stuff? All right, we got to get our guy going.
Mm-hmm. So I thought,
what was their offense?
Yeah, he hit that corner 3, a tough corner 3, and I was like, oh, he's about to get going. And then he scored, maybe hit 2 free throws after that, but that was it. Shot 1 for 7. Only 7 shots, and it was inefficient. But yeah, I really thought, because the whole season, UNCG, as you guys have already said, overachieved, but I didn't really trust him the whole season. But this tournament, I was like, you know what? I feel like Giles and Atwell, they're built for it and polite. And then after seeing VMI struggle with the Citadel, but they didn't play their best game, I was like, this is the time where Mike Jones gets his first win. And nope, VMI just came out.
Yeah, Polite was the only one who showed up.
Polite did play well. And Ricky Bradley, super clutch down the stretch, hit that buzzer beater to go at 5.
Was all right.
Yeah. He had a clutch 3 to
again, if you're asking Demetrius Davis to do that much.
Yeah, Demetrius Davis was
be
way
in a
too
good
involved
spot
today. He's a great.
He shot twice as many times as Giles. I mean,
that should not happen.
First team all SoCon guy looked like a ghost out there.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I mean,
I'll talk about some VMI too though. I was first time seeing VMI in person. I feel like, and maybe it's just seeing them in the past few years,
how bad
they fit. They're not misfit. These dudes can hoop. Ton was going crazy. Like, that dude is good. I'm shocked at how just fluid he is. I think it's always easier to see in person. I don't know. The eye test in person is always different. He's fluid, cuteless, great touch. I thought they honestly went with too much Bradley a lot of times. We were talking about that during the game. Like, I thought they were doing too much of, all right, please save us. But UNCG didn't make him pay, so it didn't matter. But I'm kind of excited to see him play Wofford, because I was telling Matt during the game, like during the Wofford ETSU game, which we'll talk about, like they could get Wofford. I'm not predicting that. I would pick Wofford, but Wofford's had a tendency to like fall asleep randomly in games or just have an awful half, and VMI could take advantage of that. So I don't feel like they would have got ETSU, but I feel like their hopes are still up against Wofford. Not to say that Wofford is a way better team in my opinion. That's who I would pick.
So yeah, it's crazy because you look on paper, VMI made 3 threes total, and you're like, oh, no way, UNCG lost this game. You look over the other side, oh, they made 2 threes. A team that has Giles is a good three-point shooter, Atwell is, Polite can knock it down, Demetrius Davis can hit one from time to time. Like, for them to shoot 2 of 14, like I just cannot believe it. And also shout out VMI because
UNCG left a lot of meat on the bone too. Yeah. They missed a lot of bunnies inside. Free throw wise, hate to be that guy again, but 17 of 26 from the line. Just leaving like easy points out on the floor, and VMI responded. And this may sound weird because of how well Ricky Bradley played, but when they did start to go to him a lot down the stretches, when UNCG kind of cut back into that lead, and then when they started hitting Cuteless on the roll, is when VMI built that lead back out and was able to kind of seal it. So, just a very interesting game. I don't know how the 7 seed keeps doing this, but what is it, 5 out of the last 6 years now? The 7 seed has
that is
advanced
wild.
to the semifinals.
It is wild, especially because who did ETSU get last year?
it was UNCG, right? Yeah.
And that UNCG team was good.
Yeah.
Like this year,
that was
this
the
year
one
I
that
do
they
feel
let slip.
questionable about. And then it was Chat got a good Sanford team. I'm totally blanking.
With the Jake Stevens.
Logan, what's Logan's last name?
Die.
Yeah, they had some
Quez
dudes.
Glover, Bubba Parham.
Yeah, they had
team.
dudes on that team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's confused. This year's a little less confusing to me, but I also feel like it's the worst of the 7 seeds to win the game. Not to slight VMI at all, but like one team had Jake Stevens. ETSU last year just had the crazy defensive lineup they had, and Peterson playing well, and Seymour playing well, and Osimo playing well. They're a little different.
They peaked at the right time.
Yeah, they peaked totally at the right time. But yeah, this year, man, it is just wild how it's worked out like that every year.
Yeah. So, in other surprising news, VMI on to the semifinals to face Wofford, who beat ETSU today, and all of us had ETSU in the title game. I had them winning the whole damn thing. And that one was tough because I would say this crowd was 75% ETSU. It felt like an ETSU home game.
I'd say every team in the SoCon that's remaining is glad ETSU lost, because now granted, like, I think you can give, like, ETSU fans deserve a ton of credit. Also, it's like the closest school here that's relevant. Western Carolina's not relevant, I'm sorry. Like, they have a great, but this was like the perfect arena for how many fans ETSU brought. It was really like, Wofford really showed out too, so it wasn't fully like a home court advantage, but it was 70-30 and it was packed.
Wofford had this little section behind their bench, and the entire rest of the arena was ETSU.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Like,
and they were loud.
That was probably the best. I'm trying to think if that was the best crowd. That's up there with one of the best crowds.
I think last year Furman, Western Carolina was a great crowd.
Yeah.
That was good.
And this is a quarterfinal, basically a first round game. Like, ETSU had something there this year, and I'm kind of with that. I'm shocked at how it all went.
The biggest thing that we kind of noticed throughout this game, and we talked about, in our preview show, was that ETSU would need Bugs, and they would need Bugs at his best. and he just did not look right. He did not look comfortable out there. I don't
He
want to
might
like
have
speculate.
CTE. Right. He might have been playing with CTE today.
I don't want to
He actually
speculate.
He actually did figure it out a little bit late in the game, but early in the game he did look confused. Didn't look like himself.
Yeah, he was constantly like spun around in the wrong spots. Would come off a pick and roll and like take a second and be open and be like, oh, I can shoot threes.
Yeah.
And I think he hit one today, but
Yeah, he was 1 for 3.
was not what they needed him to be to win this game. And the right Wofford team showed up.
Yeah.
You never know which one you're gonna get.
That's why it's so hard to pick these kind of games.
And I didn't get to go to the press conference, but I know for a fact, and I even saw it afterwards. But I was gonna say this. Oh no, I lost one light.
It's all right.
I know this was Dwight Terry's like favorite thing ever, getting Jackson Civils praise today. Like Jackson Civils was great
He
today.
was awesome. Mhm.
And yeah, he was knocking down everything, was great, like just being the physical guy, like getting into Seymour. He really bothered Seymour, I could tell, like just all game. Like Seymour was almost laughing at how physical he was being with him. And yeah, and then when he's knocking down threes like that, like that's a whole other player you're adding on there. I thought they were great today. That's the Wofford team that Taylor told us was winning.
Yep.
winning
Where
the
have they
league.
been all season? That would look so
Hey,
smart.
never wrong, just late.
Yeah. But yeah,
Or just early, my bad. Not late.
yeah, just early.
Yeah.
I saw it though. I saw the vision. But we'll see which one shows up tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, early on when ETSU went up 7-0 and Peterson hit like that first three, and the crowd was like, felt like an SEC school. I was like, man, they might run him out. But then I think it was Dylan Bailey hit 2 threes in a row, and from then on out it was a close game. And then that turning point, Justin Bailey, shout out for shooting that because he had just missed a couple with that 4-point play and hitting the free throw, and then
That was
forcing
like best
stop.
case
And
ever.
Yeah.
right before the 4-point play, when Filowich like threw the bullet at him,
Yep.
and he caught it with one
Yeah.
hand and kept it from going, and then drilled the three.
Then Filowich with a nice double-double.
Filowich 6 offensive rebounds. This is what I wanted to talk about. The ETSU bigs have not been good all season, and no matter who it was, Filowich just ate. Like he just.
I thought Hughes did okay on him, but
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he gave up too many offensive rebounds down the stretch, which led to, more second chance points for Wofford.
yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta say, that was pretty awesome, him getting a standing ovation when he finally made the free throw. Towards
No, yeah, I
Anderson
thought this was
second
like best case. Maybe not best case because you could have Tripp going crazy, but this was like everyone having a good game
Yeah.
for Wofford. I'm trying to think of anyone. Like Lorenz maybe didn't have the best of games, but like,
You shouldn't be leaning on the ones.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I thought
I'm trying to think of who
Everyone.
was primarily on Peterson for most of the game. Was it Tripp?
no Bailey guarded him.
That's right. Yeah. So
Peterson was great. Like, yeah.
Yeah, shout out to
Peterson.
Peterson,
Like,
man.
I really feel for him because he was like, I wouldn't even say the best player. Like, he was one of the best players in college basketball down this final stretch of the season.
Yeah.
And it is sad to see him go out when it's like has nothing to do with him. Like he was great today.
And
Me
it's a
Matt-
shame after Seymour got hurt because he seemed to never really fully find his form. So Peterson
Yeah, true.
really having to,
I didn't even
the
think about
load
that
was
yet.
like really on his shoulders. And
Yeah. And we were talking about like Peterson being such a great tough shot maker, and eventually down the stretch there, the shots just got too tough.
Yeah.
And I think after that Justin Bailey 4-point play, Jack turned to me and was like, Peterson's going to start forcing some tough shots.
What do you do?
He came
Three
down
I think he came
seconds
down and
later.
and
pulled
dribble
it.
hesitated, shot a 3 against the double team, and I was like, Exhibit A.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what you have to ask of him as the player of the year. You're going to have to step up and make plays down the stretch, and felt like Wofford just made more than ETSU at the end of the day.
And this will be a topic that will be like an off-season thing, but I kind of wanted to mention it because we've talked about it today. The Diego Pavia ruling a while back
That's
about the
gonna
JUCO
affect
stuff. That's going to affect
a
this
lot of
league.
guys.
I first realized with Ahmad Robinson earlier, like he was a JUCO guy. Kamari Peterson probably can play another year. Now, will Kamari Peterson be at ETSU? I don't know because
I was thinking about that earlier too.
Kamari Peterson, I feel like almost even more confident than I did about Pegues. With Pegues didn't work out, whatever. But like that he's a high major player. If he's playing at the level he's playing at, he may get a check. But I think it's going to be very, very interesting how many guys that we thought were done eligibility-wise, are going to be
Just
back
get
next
another
year
year.
just because of the JUCO rule now. Which
You have half the players putting in like a waiver to try to.
yeah, which I get. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you're telling me Demetrius Davis can get another?
Dude, if he.
Wait. Actually, I think he might. Oh my
He
gosh,
could if-
Demetrius,
He's
if
been
you're
there 6 years
listening,
already.
You
Please,
could if you wanted.
please, LinkedIn. I don't know.
Please,
if I can,
LinkedIn.
I don't know if I can take another year of watching just because I've seen you for so long. No, you were great.
He's 6 years, right? Has it been 5 or 6 for him?
He's been a long time.
Yeah.
6, yeah.
Actually, Demetrius Davis, I will only accept you in this league again next year if you were at a third SoCon school. I need you to enter the portal.
Just do a little tour.
Go
of
to
the
Mercer
conference.
or something. Like, find another school. And
Go to the
that's
Citadel.
the only way I'm accepting.
He might be the star on that one.
Who else will that affect? I'm trying to think.
I don't know. I just want to mention it with Peterson because I think
I
think
think
Peterson's
some
awesome
research on that. Yeah.
would make it
There's
fun.
a lot out there.
Peterson could be a like all conference Power 5 guy next year, I think.
Yeah.
Which I thought Pegues could be too. And side note on Pegues, I was thinking this. I wanted to say this, and I forgot to the other day. It's kind of incredible that Auburn. Now they lost today, but like Auburn's having like one of the better seasons in recent history, and doing all this with the guy who who everyone thought was going to be like their star point guard.
He's
averaging-
starting.
He hasn't played. He plays like one time a month.
Yeah.
He
Well, he
literally-
was starting to start the year, wasn't he?
Yeah, Pegues
now
played.
he's
just,
Pegues played like
coaches
2
DMP
minutes in
every night.
all of February.
Mm-hmm.
So, side note, bad year for SoCon transfers. George Short's gone, Big East is gone. Mikael Brown-Jones barely plays for Ole Miss.
Sam Alexis is. I think he's hurt right now. but
Alexis
he's fine,
actually,
yeah.
I'm kind of
He's
surprised.
doing
I
pretty
thought
well,
Alexis
yeah.
wasn't going to play.
Steve
He's like,
McRae's doing all right too.
yeah, Alexis is the 5th big, but he actually
How about
doesn't
Marcus
look that
Foster?
bad.
What's he doing?
He's okay.
He's-
Xavier's kind of
yeah.
not good, but anyway.
Yeah. So that's really gonna affect the league.
Ty Claude, he failed up. Ty Claude, Western Carolina legend,
Started today.
Started for
in-
North Carolina.
In North
today.
Carolina, dude.
What a story. He just
Ty
wasn't that
Claude,
good
man.
at Georgia Tech and said, let me go get probably 6 figures at North Carolina somehow.
Yeah. I don't know how.
Congrats to him. He's living the dream.
Yeah, good on him.
He
Yeah.
wasn't even, he was kind of overrated when he was at Western Carolina too.
Oh
Sorry.
yeah. Yeah, that's gonna affect a lot of guys in this league.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely see how that plays out. But we've got VMI and Wofford in the semifinal tomorrow.
6
6
for
and
7. Wow.
I'm of the belief that they should be able to flex these games and
Yeah.
make Wofford VMI the 4 p.m.
Yeah.
and
I
Chat
would agree.
Furman the late game. I think that would be electric, but obviously when you set the schedule, you set the schedule. So
Yeah. And
Is
I'm
what
with
it is.
giving the 1 seed somewhat of
early
an advantage, like continuing to make the other team play the early game. I will say, and it obviously didn't affect this at all. I'm saying we. I've graduated from SoCon school, so we're a SoCon podcast. We are an idiot league, in that we don't reseed.
Reseed.
Yes.
Amen.
Why?
if you want to reward the 1
Yes.
seed, reseed.
Like
and
the
give them the lowest. That's
the
what
fact
the
that
NFL
if the
does.
Citadel had to beat VMI, they would have got matched up with UNCG today. The Citadel would have. Like, that's bad. Now, it didn't obviously mean anything.
Which league has that disgusting bracket where
Yeah,
the
that's
West
even
Coast
worse.
and I think the Sun Belt too?
That's way worse. But the
where they're
ASUN
like, we
does
want
it.
to reward the ASUN too.
The ASUN does
Oh,
the
reseeds?
reseed,
Yeah.
which is great.
Yeah, if you want to reward the 1 seed, don't make the 12 seed play 7 games to get to the championship. Just give the 1 seed
Yes.
the lowest
Worked out
possible
for
seed
NC State,
remaining.
Yes, I don't think we even needed I just think it needs to be a round 1 reseed after the first thing.
I agree.
Anyway, but I do think they're doing great, and I do like that the 1 seed gets to play the earliest game. Like the 1 and 2 played early, or the first 2 games today.
Yeah.
Give those teams that are playing the shorts and the rest. Like, I do think
100%.
that's the right way to do it.
Yeah. Just depends how much advantage you want to give the higher seed.
Even though it doesn't matter that much in this league, but
You
still,
either way, you got to win 3 games in 3 days. So.
it's more than principle for me. Like, I don't know. I just get bothered at the fact that it could happen.
Yeah. So on the other side of the bracket, Two Bid SoCon is brought to you by The Ben Burnett Show. Sports, politics, anything else you're looking for. Weekends on Extra 106.3 in Atlanta or wherever else you get your podcasts.
Special thank you to Forrest Plunkett Real Estate Developers for sponsoring this episode. If you have any property you want to buy or have any houses to look at, visit forrestplunkett.com. and they will get you set up. They're great. They've been doing this for years, and so thank you to them for sponsoring.
Furman
What a win.
took care of Sanford pretty handily.
Furman was the 2015 Golden State Warriors today.
That was the best Furman has looked all year.
I picked them to win, but did not expect it to be like that.
Even through all of their non-conference success, they didn't look that good.
That's best case. That's best case Furman.
They shot 59% from 3.
You had Anderson take over.
Unheard of.
Anderson take over half. Smith take over a half. You
Tom
get Tom
House.
just flamethrower can't miss. And that's kind of what you've wanted all year from Tom House. Is to be that third guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that Tom House is going to shoot as good as he shot today, but the fact that he can, even if he doesn't shoot as efficient, if he can knock down 3 or 4 threes every game, that's a big boost to that team. Because Bowser's already, we've talked about Bowser. Just being able to play, Vanderbilt does so many things other than shoot, and being able to play him and Bowser with a guy like House knocking down shots, even Bronson knocked down shots today, that just makes this team so much better when you've already got Smith and Anderson who are just awesome. They're ridiculous.
You have Tom House goes 6 for 7 from 3 for 21 points.
6 for 7.
Nick Anderson 6 of 9 from 3 for 26 points. And oh, by the way, first team all-conference PJ Smith goes 6 of 12 from the field and 4 of 9 from 3 for 24 points. And on the way, snaps the ankles of every Sanford guard threw at him.
That's probably the clip of the year.
That was
in
that.
this league. Yeah.
And then he got Josh Holloway 5 minutes later on a tween step back or something like that.
Also, now that you say Josh Holloway, I fear Josh Holloway a little bit.
He's
awesome.
He brought them back in because early on it was 25-14, Furman controlling, and then he hit that corner 3, stole it, hit another corner 3, and then it became a game.
And he almost
did a
needs
couple more times.
Holloway almost needs
tonight.
to slow it down, but at the same time he doesn't. I think the fact that he's so insanely 1,000% every play is why he's so good.
Yeah.
He was awesome today. Yeah, he's gonna be.
There were
very
so
good.
many situations where Sanford was just face down on the mat, and the one that comes to mind is early or halfway through the first half. Holloway just randomly gets 2 back-to-back steals and hits back-to-back threes, and it goes from it was an 8-point or 10-point game or something like that, and it was within 2, within 10 seconds. There was just plenty of that from him today. Totally warranted the first team all defense selection.
He was huge today. I feel for him.
6th man of the year started today.
They said, all right, we got the award.
That's cheating.
Got
now
the
we're
award.
throwing
All right, now let's start
these. Yeah, they were totally. I don't even know what the word is. I'm thinking foul merchants. They were sitting there baiting for the.
Refs really let him play in here.
So there's a couple times where
Honestly,
Sanford
a lot of people were
shallow.
warmed up. Yeah.
A full day, my thought today, I was thinking that the refs, I think, did very
thought they were
good
really
today.
good.
I thought I feel like I rarely say that, but I felt like they did so well of not letting games get too physical while also not becoming ticky-tack
blowing everything.
in games like this.
something also is they went to the monitor a lot, but they didn't drag it out. They were all right, that's obvious.
went
Let's
to
go back
review
for some of the time.
occasionally.
But sometimes, especially in the NBA, they're you're sitting there
I could talk about how stupid the game of college basketball is with the monitor, but
What about when you go to the monitor? Can your team go to the bench, or do you have to go stand on the opposite baseline?
Well, certain announcer in this league has a strong opinion on
I
that.
think it's a valid
told
point.
every single time.
I think it is a valid point.
No, what we need to do is NBA challenge system. You get 2, or you get 1. If you get it right, you get the second one to use.
I like that.
And
Just
under
work in
2
NBA.
minutes, nothing's reviewed unless you have your challenge. So then you're not spamming those challenges early in the game. You're not using them for nothing because you want you're only using it if you know they made the wrong call, because then you're gonna keep it for that last 2 minutes when you need it.
Yeah, it got to the point where if there was anything remotely questionable, everyone in the stands would just go like this, and the rest were like, okay, we'll do it.
It's bad, yeah.
We'll go to the monitor, I guess.
I'm thinking about changing my profile pic to the
Change your banner.
At least for the next couple days.
Yeah, it's bad.
But yeah, it was crazy. Just because Sanford obviously had some chances. They may have tied or took the lead once, but even when it was tied, I just felt like Furman had control. or they were just like, all right, we're ready for an answer. Time for Anderson to hit a 3 or House to hit a 3.
I felt like Furman was so connected today, and Sanford was not.
Yeah.
There was a lot of just not swinging the rock. Like, guys get the ball, and then instead of making another pass for a great shot, they're like, all right, me time. And that just isn't the way to get it done in this kind of scenario, especially when Furman is shooting 60% from three.
As much as I would love to, like,
I can't blame it on all this other stuff.
Harp
man.
on what Sanford did. Like, nobody in the league is beating Furman.
Yeah, it's hard to blame them when
Nobody in the league.
Dude.
Hey, actually, I will make a take right now. A hot take. Nobody in the league's beating Furman if they shoot 60% from 3 every game.
I'll argue
absolutely.
if they keep shooting 60% from 3, they might end up in the Final Four.
yeah, that's the take. It's 2 bid SoCon take.
Dude, they might.
Furman's in the Final Four, asterisk, if they shoot 60% from 3. Because, you're not... Like, Sanford did not play their best game today. Like, they had guys not show up. Josh Holloway, to be specific a little bit there. He was great today, but they weren't winning. I don't think they were winning that game even with their best game. Like, you can't do anything when you have Anderson, Smith, and House unable to miss.
They still shot 46% from the field and 33% from 3.
Yeah, I
which is
they
not
played off.
Awful numbers. Those are actually pretty average numbers.
Yeah, they could have had better performances, but at the end of the day, it's like they hit everything.
Those numbers were better until the last 4 minutes when they kind of started chucking it up and missing. So.
And Nick Anderson's so awesome.
He's great.
I'm a big fan. And the fact that he can run PG too.
Yeah.
Really, I think that's very underrated is his ball handling.
Right. He's become a lot better, especially when Smith is out of the game.
Like when
and
Holloway
Richie
was
does a good
pounding
job.
Smith, he was just like, all right, Nick Anderson, come up to the court.
Because Smith had a quiet first half and then just started drawing fouls in the second, hit a couple of those threes.
Yeah.
And even Vanderwall, too. I was impressed. I think Vanderwall handled the ball really well today.
Yeah,
Still
Vanderwall's impact on the game is so much more than what
Which
the
is
box
why
score
House
will
is
tell
so
you.
important. Like, House,
100%.
I don't think it's, like, Bronson shot well today, too. But I think House, like, if House can just shoot, like, a 40% clip and knock down 3 or 4 a game, like, that expands him so much because you're not the things that you're hurt by with Vanderwall, like the fact that they can sit someone in the paint, is way less evident when you have 3 butter shooters out there at all times.
Because then you can play with Bowser or Heen, too.
Speaking of Bowser, man, that dude's athletic.
Yeah.
Jesus, man, yeah.
And shout out.
A lot of highlights in this.
Shout out to Rylan Jones.
Doing them all for trying,
almost,
right?
like giving like a
I
5-inch vertical to
I
block
pulled
Bowser.
up the replay on that dunk and I paused it right at Rylan Jones's peak, and his
he said
his
like
head
his
was
nipple.
at Bowser's hip. I was like, I respect the effort.
Yeah, and then
But
Josh
my
Holloway
God.
just like getting dunked on for no
Just-
reason to finish the
literally
game. Like that was
jumped
peak.
backwards.
That was peak. Like I'm not giving up. I'm jumping at a
respect
6'11",
him,
7-foot wingspan athletic dude. Let me just run up and try to block that.
I got him.
Yeah, I respect that.
Oh.
For sure.
So yeah, Red Hot Furman moves on to the semifinal to face top-seeded Chattanooga, who, surprise, no newcomer of the year Frank champion for who knows how long. He's listed as day-to-day for the rest of the postseason. So who knows how long that will be. He could go tomorrow. Nobody would be surprised. He could never suit up again. And nobody would be surprised because we have no intel. But I thought they did a good job adjusting today without him, especially with Mekhi Richards. Taylor, your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I thought in the first half, I could really tell that Champion's impact was missed. In the second half, it showed that there's still a deep team without him because Mercer kind of started, the wheels started to fall off, and Chat just had guys coming in, and Richards with 15 big points, and man, shout out Kiesler. On offense, he was great, but he locked up Robinson, forcing him to take tough shots. Robinson had 9 turnovers.
I feel great about the Kiesler.
Yeah.
The Kiesler defense
That
thing
was
that was really like just
that was a pull.
whatever. Like, oh yeah, let me just. I think he plays well. Like, he guarded. He really
He
guarded
was the
Robinson.
only guy on
And then
Robinson.
It was incredible.
Well, there was a point in time too where the bigs. I think it was in the first half. Bigs weren't playing well. Like, and he guarded Alex Holt for a few possessions.
Yeah,
Like, it was
yeah.
like, he legit guarded 1 through 5 and did well. Like, he is. Man, he is so good. Like I was telling my buddy from Sanford Scoop, Grant, about like the joking take I had about Kiesler like early in the year. Like if he had a fast jumper, like he'd be a player of the year. And I was kind of messing around, but like today, I said he might really. He does everything out there. Like he is so important. I've been on both ends. Like the fact that UTC was starting to pull the ETSU from last year of turning it over on that press, and my first thought is get Garrison Kiesler the ball.
Yeah.
Like have him make decisions with the ball.
Yeah.
He's just a winner. Like that's such a big player.
I mean, we talked about the only way Mercer was going to be able to win this game was Ahmad Robinson and Chip Johnson just having a day.
Yeah.
And Garrison Kiesler basically shut that down.
Yeah.
So Ahmad Robinson ends 4 of 17 with 12 points and 0 of 6 from 3.
That's crazy.
And a flagrant.
And a dead ball technical and a flagrant.
Which you called that flagrant.
I did. When he turned it over, I turned to Taylor and I went, he's going to foul. Out of bash right now. And he just came across the face.
Yeah. Robinson's awesome, though.
He's great. His
Yeah.
energy is great.
Kiesler really did well on him, but like I was sitting there thinking during the game, how was this guy not on the SoCon teams? Which is why we need media votes still. Like I feel like
you need to have an unbiased media vote.
Like he is such a game changer, but he does probably have a hot head, and he's probably got another year. We'll see if he stays here. But yeah, more about Chat. We talked a little bit about Mekhi Richards. I feel like all year we've been like, dude, he's just good. Like he's not
since that St. Mary's game.
I don't know about the fit.
He's not. Yeah, he's like it's not like he's not really a Dan Earl system player, but he's not a star player either. But he knows what he does. Like he never tries to do more. I think a prime example, and this is just because I watch a lot of Kentucky basketball, so may not get this, may get it. Brandon Garrison for Kentucky is a former McDonald's All-American player. He always tries to do too much. Like he's a good player, but he always will just randomly think he needs to do too much. Mekhi Richards is like the complete opposite of that.
Yeah, he lets the game come.
Mekhi Richards, he's like, all right, I'm gonna rebound, play good defense, be physical, and I'm gonna try to do these dribble handoffs, which I'm not all that comfortable with, but like he still gets some of that stuff in. But like, man, he just does what's asked of him. And shout out to him. Just like I talked about Melson, like there was never a time this year. And this is a little bit different from Melson because Melson struggled a ton. But, like, with Richards, there was never a time this year that he played his way out of rotation.
No.
Like, he was good all year. Mm-hmm. Like, there was never a time where it's like, oh, he's hurting you out there. Yeah. And he just stopped getting PT.
I think things got a little messy because
with all the bigs,
pretty sure the plan was to redshirt Doof.
Yeah, and then
they look up and Mulholland's hurt and Cassano's hurt, and they're like, we have to play this guy.
Exactly. And they look vindicated for playing all of them right now because Doof played good the other day. They're going to need him to play well depending on what champion status is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's their depth. Like we keep saying, that is this guy doesn't play some games.
Yeah, because if
Doof
came into this game with a bunch of DNPs, I don't know how comfortable they'd feel going like with anybody else.
And same with Melson. Like Melson gave him such good minutes the other day. He played a little bit today. Like he didn't do a lot. But like it may come again in another game.
But he wasn't like a glaring issue.
They just kept playing these guys, and just keeping them somewhat fresh is gonna pay dividends. We'll see though.
So, Chat Furman at 4:00 for some reason, and Wofford VMI. I can't believe I'm saying
two very different games.
They're
very different.
So 1, 5, 6, and 7.
That's two really good games, I think.
I'm excited for both those.
I think, and this is not a slight to Wofford. I don't want it to be like, but I legit think ETSU VMI would be a bad game. I just don't think that matchup. Like, I can't see a world where ETSU's defense doesn't just overwhelm VMI to where they can't do anything.
They match personnel so well. Yeah. Like
so
with Boyd and
this
Seymour.
Almost worked out best case. Like I think Furman Chat is going to be awesome, and I think VMI Wofford has potential. Now I could also see Wofford blowing them out the gym if they play similar to they did today. But even then, like VMI really is connected, and that staff knows what they're doing. So I think it's going to be a great day of games tomorrow.
My biggest question with Chat is Mekhi Richards the guy again if Champion doesn't go?
I doubt it.
Because he's going to be matched up with Cooper Bowser all day.
Yeah.
And the inability to pull Bowser away from the rim. And Mekhi Richards just keeps reminding me of Jahlil Okafor.
He said that every time he scores.
He's got a nasty baby hook, and that's close to it.
Here's the
and
one
I love
thing
that,
I think
but
with that matchup, like you're talking about, is I think when we went down to watch Chat Furman, Frank Champion was good, but he was like a non-factor scoring because Bowser completely took him away. So if any of those guys for Chat can just be good in affecting the game other ways, they can play exactly like they did last game. Now, none of those guys have the skill set that Champion has, so we'll see if that actually happens. But I do think there's something to say that Champion was basically like what he had like 2 or 4 points last time they played, just because Bowser erases that. So it's not like you're losing.
right.
Oh well, we killed him in the post score in the last game. Well, he didn't because
Right.
Cooper Bowser exists. You've got to have one of them step up and just rebound really well or facilitate well.
You don't need anything crazy. You just
Right.
need-
You just can't actively hurt them. Like that's all
Right.
they need, really. It's really going to be the other guys to me that's going to figure that one out.
Yeah. So that'll be super interesting matchups tomorrow. We'll again have a bottom 5 seed in the championship game by Monday.
Wow.
Which is
I
gonna
didn't
be
even realize
Yeah,
that.
I didn't put that together.
I can't believe Wofford's 6th seed, too.
I know.
I was thinking that
They
today.
don't feel like a
They really
6 seed.
don't.
That's not a... Yeah, that's...
Shows how
League's deep.
league heavy
This
they
year.
are,
Yeah.
top heavy.
I mean, somebody picked them to win the league in the preseason, and
Yeah, it was
they
me.
ended 6th.
It was
It
just
just
early.
shows the depth of this league.
When
man.
they're
It's
good,
crazy.
though, that was my vision.
When they're good, they're really good.
Yeah.
So we'll see on those tomorrow, and we will be back after we have 2 finalists for another live show.